Flosstube. This is Lisa coming to you from the Pacific Northwest. It is Saturday, April 16th, 2022. I think that's right. I got it. This is my third time trying to start this. Welcome to my channel. This is my channel Creaky Geekery, which is also my cross stitch channel on Instagram, my cross stitch account. And I'm mostly geeking out about cross stitch. I will occasionally post information about my cosplay, which will be more this summer because Resin Rose is going to happen this fall. And I'm excited, and I'm going to finish my revamp of my dwarf outfit for that. So that will be later this summer. I'll probably post a little bit more about that. But anyway, right now it's all cross stitch all the time. Thank you for coming. Okay, it's been a busy week. Work was busy. Nithya, I saw your comment about possibly getting lots of stitching time. I actually did, even though I was invited to participate in an epic level 20 D&D campaign. Happened last night. It was awesome. The badger, my badger animal companion, took the dragon down. Dracolich. It was an undead dragon. It was an undead dragon. Anyway, it's surprisingly complex to roll a character level 20. It took me 3 evenings, and I was like, I gotta get this done because I want to play in this game, but stitch, but no, I need to do this, but stitch, but I still managed to get some good stitching time in, so that was cool. Today for cross stitch, I have 2 FFOs, 1 re-FFO'd, kind of, a little bit. We'll see. You'll see. If you've seen my Instagram, you've seen those, so I apologize for the repetition for those of you who do follow me on Instagram. But yeah, so I have FFOs, I have new starts. I might be getting a handle on this multiple whips thing. Go figure. Adderall drugs are good for more things than I thought. And it's me. I have haul. You know that. I will always have haul. Well, maybe not always, but I do. So yeah, I hope, hit my computer. I hope everybody's doing well, enjoying whatever season of weather they're getting right now. We had all 4. We had snow, we had rain, we had sun, and yeah, it's been, I guess we haven't had summer. We didn't really get heat, which I'm hoping waits until summer to come. Last year's heat wave in May was, or whenever that was, June, I don't remember. Anyway, it was 3 days of never before seen temperatures here. Not good. Okay, I guess let's just get right onto the stitching. Not as much chit chat this time. Mary Kate, if you're watching this, you may get all of this on repeat tomorrow. So my FFOs. I had finished Pretty Little Chicago. I got it framed. Check it out. Yay, I'm so happy. I just bought, we have a locally owned craft series of craft stores here. And I just went there, and they tend to have fairly decent frames and fairly decent prices. And so I couldn't find a frame I liked at Goodwill, and then I just went and picked this one up, and I liked it. I was going to frame it in the glass because the local shop doesn't frame anything with glass. And they have their reasons for that, and I did some poking around online, decided, yeah, maybe I will frame it with glass, but switch streams midway, as I do, which I found out is part of the ADHD thing. So I was going to put it in glass, and then I realized when I looked at it that I had put batting behind it and was preparing to frame it without glass. I was like, well, I don't know. We'll see which one I like better. So I was trying to take the glass out of the frame, and the frame broke, and the glass broke. And so I'm like, framed without glass it is. Yes. So anyway, and it works because I use these, I'm hanging it on my wall opposite my nice stereo, and it helps make kind of a little bit of a baffle so I don't get the reverb and the echo so much. So yeah, so this is Pretty Little Chicago. I stitched it in the called for DMC. And I used, it was just some stash fabric. It's a 32 count Jobelin, which I don't usually stitch on because I honestly don't like the even. I like the slubby look of the linen, but, and it's called lamb's wool. And I really like, I don't know if you can see it. I'm actually getting a lot of bright sunshine in through my window there. But I really like just the faint cloud, like just a faint cloudy sky effect that I got with it. So yeah, so I'm really happy with this one. It's hanging up on my wall. Yeah, so that's FFO number 1. Set that down. FFO number 2 is, again, one I showed you the finished stitching, but this is the final finish. This is, I'm really getting a lot of glare from that window. This is Winter Bear by Nora Corbett. And I had picked up this fabric at the local craft store because I really liked the color. I felt like it almost matches this color here, and so I liked it. I wish once I got it framed, I wished I would have like offset a little bit and kind of put the bear over in this corner, and then I could maybe put like glitter, or maybe some more stars or some hot fix rhinestones, because you know when you finish it and you look at it, you're like, oh, that's great. Oh shoot, but I could have. And it's like, no, just enjoy the finished product, Lisa. So basically, I just mounted this on a piece of board. I laced it. These two actually, both this and Pretty Little Chicago, instead of gluing the backs, I laced them just to see how that worked, and it actually went pretty well. I kind of like it. Partly too because I'm almost out of my PVA glue, so I'm going to have to go pick some up at Dick Blick. And then this is glued. It's just on a piece of, actually, I might have used my last large piece of museum quality sticky board that I also got from Dick Blick on this one. But anyway, so this has a little bit of batting on it, and then this doesn't have, well, no, I think I did put a little bit of batting on this one just to give it some dimension. And then these are both glued on. This is glued to this, and then I glued it just to this board that I picked up, and I can either hang it or prop it up. And then the die is Lady Dot Trims, and it's funny, I ordered several different colors from her online, thinking I would get one that better matched this kind of pinky red, and then none of the ones I ordered matched. So I had to go into the little cross stitch, the local needle shop store, local cross stitch, and you know, I always dangerous, but anyway, so I went in and got some, and this, which is still not a perfect match, but I like it. I think it's close enough, and it's technically not a Coca-Cola bear, but you know, I'm sorry, the Coca-Cola, as much as I hate the fact they're Coca-Cola bears, they're really cute, and that may be part of why I do like. No, I don't know how old the Coca-Cola bears are, but I've always thought they were adorable. But anyway, so this is my second FFO, and it is Pretty Little Chicago. Ooh, I like the way this is showing up in the picture frame. I wasn't sure how that would play, but I really like how that adds dimension to it. I hadn't noticed that. And I did also, this is stitched on, but it only had a stitch through this top, and I went ahead and put some PVA glue underneath it and did that because it made me uncomfortable. It felt like it might come off. So yeah, so that's my little winter bear. So that's ready to go. So 2 FFOs. I'm feeling pretty proud of myself for that. The third refinish, reformatted was my Invierno, and I didn't remember. Okay, so it finished like this, and I just didn't feel like that did justice to the picture. I felt like the picture was prettier and it needed a little bit more oomph, and I was just going to hang it on the wall, and when I did, it just didn't do what it should. So I picked up this frame. Again, I looked for frames at Goodwill. I did bring a bunch of frames home, but when I got right down to it, none of them worked. And so I just put same fabric. I got like 1.5 yards of it because it was such a pretty color, and plus because I just tend to overbuy fabric, which is not a good thing. But anyway, I put that in the frame, and then I picked this frame up again at the little crafts, our locally owned craft shop. And then I had a stash button I was trying, and I didn't like it, and I was at Joann, and I thought I liked this one. Well, it's not, no, it's too, it looks like it's too blown out in the light that I've got here. This is kind of blown out too. Wow. That sunshine is just really, really bright. But anyway, I really like this effect, hanging it like this, and then Spawn's moving out later this year, and then there's one place where they have a picture hanging up on a wall. I thought, well, I can just hang this up there, and then that will give me incentive, hopefully, to get the other 3 done, and then I can just change these out on the solstices and the equinoxes. So, but anyway, this is Invierno, and again, I did this before, but I actually really like it like this. I feel like that sets it off, gives it a nice spark, and then again, I can just, hey, look, I had some paint stirring sticks, and I had sewn this on in the past to put a bell. I was going to do it as a bell pull, and then I didn't like any of the bell pull hardware really that I brought one home, and it didn't work, and I didn't like the other ones I was finding, so I just put, in order to give it some stability, I trimmed down a paint stirring stick and stuck it in here, and then I probably need to do it on the bottom as well, because it's also a little bit, it's not hanging quite flat. See, my initial plan for this, I had this vision in my head of like a banner with a pointed tip and a tassel and this in the middle, and my quilting and sewing skills were not up to that, sadly. So instead, we get this, which isn't all bad. So that's, I'm actually pretty happy with it. And so those are all my finishes. I took an extra a couple days of vacation last weekend, and that's how I was able to work on all of these. That's mostly what I did. I did some stitching, but most of what I did was work on getting those things cut and framed, and I really liked it. And now I have to buy more framing stuff because I'm kind of done with framing, which is a weird feeling. So anyway, so those are my FFOs, and so whips, I have several. There's only 3 I've worked on since the last time I filmed. I don't think I've done much on Galactic Galliard. I'm still a little intimidated by it, and I need to get over that because it's going to be really pretty when I finish it. I just have to convince myself that I can finish it. So anyway, moving on to my whips. This is the one I've been working on the most consistently, which is Plum Street's Polar Pack. I am stitching it in the called for colors on the called for fabric, except that I'm replacing, I'm just using DMC white and for the bears, and DMC black for the border around it, instead of the called for floss from that other company. And I'm actually doing pretty well. I know I made a comment about, here's another boring progress picture, and people were very kind. Sue and Bonnie were very kind. It's like, no, it's not boring, it's cute. Like, okay, cool. Anyway, this is where I'm at. So not too shabby. I've got another there's another bear and a half. Well, where'd the picture go? So you can kind of see where I'm at on it. So yeah, not too shabby. I should be able hopefully to finish this up in the near future. We'll see. I did get a little distracted. For some reason, my stitches, I'm not entirely happy with my technique down here. I feel like my stitches got a little and there are a couple of missed little snow dots, but I'm like, you know what? It's okay. It'll keep keep Athena and other gods of weaving and stitching from coming after me, because it's not perfect. But anyway, so I'm really pleased mostly, but I felt like I was getting all of this stitch just for some reason was melting my brain a little, and so I wanted something to stitch on that wasn't quite as hop around. I don't really feel like it counts as confetti, but maybe it does. But anyway, I felt like it just was more than my brain could handle. I wanted something with a little bit more blocky colors to work with. So because of that, I have several different things kitted, but I started on this one, which I just got because I have the Portland one done, and I just thought this one was too cute, and I can't have too many mementos from my wonderful trip to Scotland, and this is where I'm at on it. It's a really easy stitch. I'm stitching it in hand because this is a thicker DMC linen, and I find that it just has a little bit more heft to it than some of the others. And then plus, like in meetings at work, I can sit and stitch on this, whereas with the Polar Pack I had to check my patterns too often. So that's that. And then that'll come back later. Then I also I've had this one for a while, and my plan is to make it into a stocking for a family member, and I actually got it started. I am stitching it on, this is a fabric flare fabric that I bought specifically for it, and I don't have a lot done. So I am substituting, this is stitched in mostly DMC with some Gentle Arts threads, and I have substituted for overdyed flosses for these from, again, a company I will not use in the future, but I'm going ahead and using them because I felt like there's so much just orange fur there that I wanted a little bit of variation, and I went with overdyed flosses and these. So I bought these, I think it's been a while. I bought them a while ago. I bought them from Starlight Stitchery in Corvallis, which if you do mail order is awesome. They're just really, really cool. They're also on Instagram. But so yeah, so this is about how far I am. This is, let's see if I can hold both of these in one hand and point. That's this piece right here. No, you can't. So I'm working on this. That's the part I did, was just like right here. right here, because that's the middle of it. And then right now I'm going to try and kind of like work my way up so I can just have some fill-in stitching and I don't have to worry about it too much. I'm trying to avoid striping with the overdyed flosses because sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. And so I have some my cross stitch and needlework book collection. I have some books on crewel and needlework, and they talk about working like kind of in a pattern, and sometimes I go, so I try not to get too wild with my stitch spacing because that gets A, annoying, B, I feel like my stitches aren't as even and neat if I do too much of that, and C, if you have to go back and pick it out, it gets frustrating because you can't just pick this row, okay, I'm done. No, you have to figure out, and if you tug too hard on the wrong threads and you wind up loosening some and maybe pulling some, and then you have to take even more out, because even more than the thread you were just trying to take out. So anyway, so I try not to pull too much on it, but yeah, so this one is finally started. This person's birthday is early summer, and I'm hoping to have most of the stitching done. So as soon as I'm finished with Scotland and Polar Pack, this will be my primary focus. I'm actually pretty excited about it. So yay! Actually, quite a bit of stitching. One thing Flosstube does, and Instagram helps. Instagram helps keep me on task, but making these Flosstubes actually really seems to help keep me focused on my stitching, because I have to have something to show when I come here to film. So that's one reason I keep making them, because I enjoy it. I have fun talking to the camera, and I appreciate all of you watching and commenting and all the other things. So on to haul. I got the loveliest surprise in the mail almost 2 weeks ago now. I went out and there was a package. I'm like, who sent me a package? Because I don't have anything on order. I don't have anything on order, but I have, I don't know what this is. What is this? And then I saw the return address, and it was from a very dear friend, a very old friend who I met, oh my God, it's been over 20 years. And this was back in the early days of the internet. And you didn't meet people online back then because, you know, they might be an axe murderer. So I've always teased Mary Kate that she was my first axe murderer. She lived in the Midwest. I lived on the left coast. Her family was out here for a vacation, and we'd been corresponding a little while. We met on an email list server. And she was like, well, we're going to be in the area. Should we meet up? And I'm like, axe murderer maybe. No, I don't know. And she was like, well, okay. But she already knew that you probably aren't going to meet an axe murderer. So she was kind and, you know, like, well, if you don't want to, but it'd be really cool. And I was like, okay, fine. So I drove out over to the coast to meet her. We had so much fun. It was just a blast. And we just were really, really great friends there for a while. And then our lives kind of went different directions, and we've kind of lost touch. And so, I don't know, 3 months ago, she posted it on one of the Facebook stitching groups. A post popped up, and it was one that I belonged to, and I was like, that's Mary Kate. And, you know, we stayed Facebook friends, right? But her life, like I said, her life just kind of went different directions. And, hey! And so I popped on there, you know, good to see you. Wow, congrats. She'd just gotten hold of a grail pattern and stuff. And I was like, all right, that's really cool. And so we kind of connected a little bit. And then I get this package in the mail, and it's from Mary Kate, and there's a lovely letter about my Flosstube, which was really cool, and some comments. And she also was like, you know, and she's a fabulous seamstress. She's just a fabulous seamstress. She's also responsible for my Belgian doll collection, because she collected Tonner dolls. And I remember the first time I went to your house and I saw them, and I was like, those are kind of cool. I'll have to think about this. And then the more I thought about it, and the more I realized, I was like, wait, no, this is actually really, really cool. And so that's another thing we share in common as well. We've shared fandoms, we've shared the doll hobby, and lots of things. So now we get to share the cross stitch, which is cool. But she sent me this absolutely gorgeous pattern project bag that she had made. She's like, I think you'll like it. You do I remember that you like bright colors. Oh, yeah. And what's even better is that I had been, so I think this was like Monday or Tuesday a couple weeks ago. The Saturday before this arrived, I had been at the local cross stitch store just to grab one or two things, and I actually managed to just grab one or two things that time and get out. It's become a game to see how little can I get out spending. Anyway, and I picked one up that looked almost identical to this, because they have pattern bags for sale there. And then I was like, you don't really need it, Lisa. You came in here for these two things. You're trying to retrain the brain. And I was like, I don't need it. I'm going to put it back. And then this arrived in the mail. So not only did I get the gorgeous, gorgeous project bag, it's so beautifully made, I also got one, just basically the one, it was like, oh, I got a reward for being good. But it also came with this wonderful little thread keeper, a little place to put your needle. And just, it was so sweet. And then from a friend and a letter, and it just made my day, it made my week. It was really, really cool. So yeah, and then now we're gonna reconnect, and we'll see. I don't know if we'll do. I was almost thinking video chats, but I don't know. That might be a bit much for both of us. So it's like we're gonna start talking back and forth because it's so much fun to have things to share and people that you can just chat with about it. So that counts as haul, but that was just such a wonderful, lovely, wonderful, lovely gift and surprise, and it still brings a smile to my face. And so I have, actually, I'm going to put them back in so I don't lose anything. I have the threads for the projects the small projects I want to work on in here, along with some needles. Yeah, my Scotland pattern. And then Paul, because I bought Marumi Crafts Persian Love, and then I saw this, and I love this color, kind of ochre mustardy color. I'm going to plan on stitching it on this, and I'm not entirely sure what color I'm going to. It's a 36 count Edinburgh linen. I'm not entirely sure what color thread I'm going to use, but I have a couple of variegated flosses I'm toying with, and so that'll be my next smallish project. So anyway, but yeah, thank you so much. That was really sweet. Just wonderful, made my day. So now this can go back in here, so all of my things are in one place. And I love, even this, because I am so out of sight, out of mind. I see the pattern project bags that are solid without the vinyl, and I am just like, they're beautiful, but if I stick stuff in there, I will never, I don't know when I'll touch it again because I can't see it, which is not necessarily good, but it's doing and I've known that for years. I started switching over to clear containers for most of my craft stuff years ago because I realized that about myself. So anyway, okay, back to some haul. I am a member of Mystic Fabrics, Fabric of the Month Club, and I'm having 32 count sent just because I know my favorite is 36, but I'm finding sometimes that's hard to stitch on without really bright light. So I have this is just beautiful. This is Wisteria. This is the April. Isn't that just pretty? Such a lovely, lovely. It's violet. It's kind of a periwinkle. Well, I guess it's a little bit more purple. So it might not be a true periwinkle, but it's just a really, really pretty, because it's looking very blue on camera, whereas it's more purple when I look at it. So there's that. That was April's. And then I also got March's, which I forgot about last time. So this one is called Something Blue, and it is just a beautiful kind of a sky blue. And the light's really bright coming in from that window. I'm honestly thinking I might switch my Aspen Mandala to this when I get around to stitching it, because this almost looks more like a summer sky blue, and as much as I love the winter solstice color, this just almost seems more accurate. So we'll see. The other thing I picked up, because I saw Nithya had it, was the Silky Thread Pack for Tangled Fire by Ink Circles. I did not get Tangled Fire because I love it, but I am just not sure when I'll stitch it. But what I do have, these are some of my colors. All you need in here is a little turquoise and chartreuse, and I'm good. I'm golden. This is the color scheme I would love to live with. I have actually, let me see if I can actually pause it instead of stopping and restarting. Let me pause this for a second, grab the pattern that I thought of for these colors. Okay, so no, I did not manage to hit record again. Didn't realize that I hadn't hit record again. Finished recording my Flosstube and went, where? Anyway, I'm back. I picked up this pattern a while back. This is part of the reason I buy patterns, is I'm realizing that they do go out of print, and coming back into the hobby after 20 years, I'm finding there are a number of patterns. Teresa Winsler's Dragon Fob. There's a dragon one, a Viking rune boat from I think a European designer that I can't find. There was one that popped up on Instagram this week. Christmas Elegance by Mirabilia, and I was like, oh, that's gorgeous. What is it? They told me. I googled. Oh, okay, no, I'm not buying that one. Not for a while. That one. Anyway, so that's part of the reason I do just pick up patterns. So I had bought this pattern. I love the tree. I love all of it, but I am not entirely sure. I wasn't a huge fan of the coloring because I think about the Book of Kells and some of the other Celtic knotwork and stuff I've seen, and it tends to be bright colors. And the muted colors here were pretty, but they didn't thrill me. And then I saw this thread pack, and I went, hey, now that would be a lovely substitution. And I might even substitute, find some chartreuse and some turquoise to throw in. But I just thought that was a really neat option for working on this one. When will I get to it? Who knows? Do I have to have a plan beyond, I want to do this with these colors? Probably not. The cross stitch police aren't watching, are they? I hope not. Anyway, I'm trying to remember. It was fabulous. It was fabulous. It was the best Flosstube I've ever done, and that's why it didn't record. So, I think that's all of my haul, and that's all plans. This is a big thing. With the ADHD, I take Adderall now. I was recently diagnosed with ADHD. Was previously diagnosed as bipolar for 30 years. And no, wait, it's ADHD. Anyway, and I'm on Adderall for it. It has made such a big difference. And I honestly think I am figuring out this multiple whips thing. I know most of you are probably like, what's the big deal? It's a process. You enjoy the process. You do. I don't know how to explain it, but my brain just doesn't work that way. I hyper focus. If I'm not making progress, I get this little voice in my head like, you should, don't work on that. If you work on this, you'd finish it. Well, for one, I'm figuring out how to finish things, which I think also is a result of the ADHD meds. Flosstube also helps. I think I already said that. But Flosstube helps and Instagram helps because having a community I want to show things to you. I want to have things to show to you. So I do my stitching so I can say, hey, look what I did when I get here. So I tend to, with projects, I hyper focus. If I get several things, I can't pick. It's like, I don't go to the grocery store to shop hardly ever now. I order my groceries online. I love it. It's when I got into a Reddit for women with ADHD, and that was one of the things that kept coming up. I find there's at least 2 groups I know that hate, or 3 that hate grocery shopping. My friends with migraines, my friends with severe social anxiety, and everyone I know with ADHD. It's like, no. Grocery shopping. You walk in and you're like, so many choices, so many decisions, and it's overwhelming. And yes, I use lists, and I did it. I mean, I had a family. I raised a family. I managed to function. But when I moved out and was on my own and had nobody else, that was one of the first things I decided I realized I hated. And then the pandemic hit, and I'm like, yes, actually, I can order my groceries online. And then Spawn moved in, and I was like, well, maybe I just need a shopping buddy, a body double, they call it. And that's actually a very functional thing that it works for other developmental disorders, but ADHD is one of the ones where you have somebody just come be with you while you do the thing. And I thought, okay, well, I'll go grocery shopping with the Spawn because, yes, this will make, no. I still hated it. And our diets, I have a fairly limited diet, and no, it wasn't a thing. So it's like that with cross stitch. If I get too many projects, I get overwhelmed and I can't pick. Even having a thing to pick for me doesn't help because the little thing doesn't deal with the internal anxiety and the brain misfiring and the dopamine, whatever's going on. The dopamine's off on a side quest. It'll be back later. So the Adderall, though, seems to be helping with that because I made a couple of extra starts, as you saw. And the other night I was stitching on the Scotland piece, and I went, okay, I've done this. I actually want to work on Polar Pack now. And I put Scotland down, and I picked up Polar Pack, and I worked on it for a while, and I went, hey, I can do this because it's not the hyper-focus thing. I can still hyper-focus if I want to, but there was just such an ease to it that has never been there before. and the little voice kind of made it show, no, it doesn't matter. I'm making progress on both of them. Thank you very much. And I did it. And so I was like, dawn of a new era for creaky geekery. I can do multiple whips now. So we'll see. My plan for the next week is to keep working on these three: the fox, the polar pack, the Scotland, and I want to have at least one of Scotland and or polar pack or both done in the next 2 to 3 weeks, because that's the other thing. Flosstube helps. It it kind of gives me a deadline because I want something to show. This is one reason I keep making these, and thank you for watching and commenting, because it's just really fun. It keeps me honest, and it gives me a dopamine hit. Come on. it feels good. So that's my plan. I also realized that, hold on one moment and let me try this one more time. So I give up on pausing and coming back because I just always seem to hit the wrong button. So it's starting a third film. And it is recording this time, I checked. So Galactic Galliard, you can see it here. This is kind of blown out, but and I've got the verse mostly drafted out, but I realized I'm kind of afraid of these little extra stitches, and they're Algerian eyelets. They're not that hard, but I'm a little concerned about putting them in and then like moving the Q-snap, and will it mess them up? But I guess I can always redo them. But the other thing I realized, and gosh, that glare, this little white dot up here is Mercury. And I'm kind of like, Mercury should be more red. Mercury should be burning hot. And so I'm going to fiddle with the colors on it a little bit. But I'm just kind of psyching myself out about it, and I need to not. And so I can actually start the lettering, and that's a little terrifying because, like I said, I am replacing the lettering. But again, it's nothing that a nice frog session can't fix if I mess it up, right? It doesn't matter. Just try anyway. And so that's the point I'm trying to hit with the Galactic Galliard. So as soon as I finish Scotland and or Polar Pack, I'm going to work on the fox, and then I'm going to try and focus more on Galactic Galliard because I would like to get more of that done. I do have some life stuff. I think my dad's coming to visit in a couple of weeks, and so that's going to be busy. Work, we've smoothed out our workflow, so instead of having like a month at the beginning of the quarter where I'm actually not that busy at work, and I can kind of like, as I'm listening to things or reading through things, I can actually maybe sit and stitch a little bit. It's not happening right now. It's nice because then I don't have the crunch at the end of the quarter, but I also am kind of missing that light month at the beginning, but that's fine. No crunch at the end is much more worth it. So there's some life event things coming up that'll maybe eat into my stitching time, but I'm actually feeling really, really good and very happy with all of the progress, and like, wow, I can do this. I'm counting Polar Pack as my Mill Hill Monday ornament kind of thing, but I also think I started one of the other Mill Hill ornament kits I bought that I need to pull out and work on a little too. So maybe I'll show you that next time. I think that's almost everything. I will have to edit this and upload it later today. Right now, I have to go get ready. We're the spawn and their partner, and not the one I live with, but the spawn and another spawn and their partner and I are going to go see Michelle Yeoh's new movie, which is Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is just supposed to really be good. I've know a couple people that have seen it, and good sci-fi movie. Michelle Yeoh, what is not to love? So we're headed out to see that at the theater here this noon, and my COVID tests from my exposure last weekend all came back negative, so it's like, okay, I'm good, I can go, but still gonna wear that mask. Yeah, I see a lot of people, the employees at retail stores and stuff, wearing masks, and I'm like, yeah, for their sakes, I will wear the mask even if I don't necessarily like it. I'd love to not wear them, but I got my COVID exposure came at a friend's house. I was there for a D&D game, and then we get a message later in the week. She's like, yeah, sorry, the spouse just tested positive for COVID. Whoa, and they didn't know. So yeah, anyway, I hope everybody is doing really well. I am watching Antiques Roadshow. I also got a Blu-ray. I just got the 4th season of Haikyuu, the subbed version. So I have things to watch while I stitch. And yeah, I think that's everything. I keep saying goodbye, don't I? Just say goodbye and go. Goodbye and go. Happy stitching. Have a lovely time. Hope to see you soon. Bye.